The movie starts with Dr. Krippen interviewed on TV about her great discovery. She has changed the measles virus genetically so that it attacks cancerous cells. She explains that all the cancer patients which her cure has been tested on have recovered so far and claims that it has cured over 10,000 patients. 3 years later, New York City becomes an empty and desolate place, devoid of human life. Grass covers roads and buildings, abandoned cars line the highways, and the city is silent. And with scary wind sound, Robert Neville is seen driving through the deserted city holding his gun. He looks around the desolated city and his dog Sam takes a look through the car window. Hordes of birds fly off as his car approaches towards them. Roberts talks to his dog as herd of deer leap across his path and he follows them, gives chase at speed in the car. He tries to shoot but retracts his gun. He realizes it's a hunt. The deer split up as he screeches his car to see road blocked with abandoned cars. The deer continue their run through the cars. He looks as his dog Sam barks and he calms her. Roberts gives chase on foot and lays ambush inside a small bush, trying to hunt one deer down. He gets the deer in his gun sight, but the deer gets off target. He advances to get a clearer target. He rounds and tiptoes through a car. As he aims for the deer, a lion suddenly attacks and kills the deer, which presumably has escaped from a New York zoo. He is torn as to whether to shoot the lion and its family, who also enter the scene, or leave the deer to them. At this point, Robert's watch starts beeping, indicating that dusk is fast approaching. He tells Sam that they are leaving and she goes with him. Roberts gets home. It is the typical detached house. He pours a liquid in front of his doorstep. Roberts and Sam have had a seemingly normal evening, eating processed food and watching TV. Sam tries to remove vegetables from her meal, but Roberts tells her to eat it. Robert is seen bath Sam as he tells her to eat more vegetable. He turns on music that plays while he continues with the bath and sings along. He hears a watch beep which saddens him. After a bath, he shuts locks and protects every door and window with massive steel shutters. He sleeps with Sam in a bathtub, rifle in hand, and with sounds of scary screams surrounding the home. Robert is seen rushing out from his car on a military uniform. He hurriedly takes Zoe, his wife, their child, Marley, and Sam, as a puppy, tries to leave New York. He decides to stay in New York on his own in order to try to stop the virus, as he is a military doctor. They tell Marley they are going on holiday. Marley asks too many questions, but her mother Zoe cautions her. An infected hit on their car door glass. Marley screams. The dream scene is interrupted by Robert waking to once again face his lonely reality. At his fortress-like home, Robert works out and runs a trade mill with Sam. He comes down the stairs with his dog and goes into a room, telling Sam to wait. He reaches the basement, where he keeps a small but high-tech laboratory. He records a video of his experiment. We see that he has been experimenting with a vaccine for the virus that has wiped out most of the human race. Robert opens up the hundreds of mice that are in captivity, which he uses to experiment. He's tried the vaccine, evidently only one of hundreds, on some mice in order to find a viable cure. All the mice act incredibly aggressive, except for one. Robert makes note of this mouse and deems that specific compound ready for human trials. Later, Robert goes to a video rental store where he talks to some mannequins he has set up, his only form of contact with human form. He collects a DVD and talks to one mannequin whom he assumes to be human. He goes into a small maize plantation with Sam and harvests. It seems he has created a game for himself to prevent depression and madness from overwhelming him. He burst into some condo flats nearby with his gun, searching for supplies and coming upon a room with a bed surrounded by plastic wrap and another room with 2 cribs. He sees a love letter pasted on a door. We see the pain in his eyes as he empathizes with the loss of loved ones. Later, we hear the radio message Neville has created and plays over all AM radio frequencies. It says that he's alive, and that he'll be waiting for more survivors at the docks of the bay at midday every day, and guarantees food, shelter and security. He is seen playing golf in a frigate and screams. Sam spots a deer again, so they go after it. The deer runs into an old building at ground level, and Sam goes after it, although Robert has tried to hold Sam back. He enters the building calling as Sam will not return of his own accord. Carefully, Robert searches the darkened rooms. With fright and quick breath, he positions his gun and light and calls Sam's name, ready to engage anything on his way. Out of grief, he tells Sam that he will go since he is unsure of her situation. As he furthers his search for Sam, he sees blood and follows the trail and finds the deer dead. He keeps searching and suddenly flashes light and sees the darkseekers cluster in a sleep. He removes his gun light out of fear so they don't get alerted. He steps on dollar bills scattered on the ground. He hears Sam whimper and finds her hiding under an old desk. As he calls Sam to escape, she regresses with fear. He hears a growl of something behind. As he aims his gun and light towards the noise, An infected male growls and then leaps out of the darkness to attack, but Robert shoots him dead. Both Sam and Robert start running away through the building. Some more of the infected get alerted, appear and chase them. He runs faster for his life along with Sam. He tells Sam to take a faster route to escape as they separate. Sam escapes. Many of the infected close in and hold him to bite. Robert narrowly breaks through the glass and crash lands along with some darkseekers that get burned because of sunlight exposure. One of the darkseekers falls to the ground with Roberts as he burns out due to sunlight exposure as well. Sam gets excited as he pet her and watches the infected die in pains. The leader of the darkseekers cannot run after them because his skin burns as soon as he comes in contact to sunlight. Soon afterwards, Robert sets a trap to catch one of them. He cautions Sam and tells her to stay in the car or she risks getting infected. As Roberts collects his own blood, he uses it as bait and breaks it. The trap captures a female darkseeker. Roberts hits her with his gun. The alpha darkseeker roars but can't move out due to sunlight. His body starts to burn slowly as he goes back in the dark. Roberts looks at him with fright and anxiety. He succeeds and takes the captured female darkseeker home to his laboratory. The female darkseeker is laid as she breathes heavily. He tries the vaccine that made the mouse less aggressive, but it fails and the female darkseeker becomes extremely aggressive, growls and later flatlines. Roberts expresses disappointment. He revives her with an adrenaline shot and continues to adapt his serums in the hope of finding a cure. His frustration increases as he agitates. He pushes the darkseeker inside a glass and locks her up. Roberts gives reports on his research findings and how the infected behaviors are entirely distinct from that of human. That night, he again dreams of the past, when his wife and child try to leave New York in the chaos of its evacuation. He relives the panic and terror on the streets as the citizens of the city try to escape before the infected take control. Citizens are screened before passing. Roberts and Marley, his daughter, pass the screening but his wife fails. With his military influence, he orders for a second screening which she gets cleared along with puppy Sam. An infected woman that bleeds from the eye cries for help but Roberts turn Marley face as they proceed. Zoe and Marley enter the helicopter for escape as both wave themselves goodbye in tears carrying puppy Sam. Robert wakes again, with a deeply sad face. His watch beeps as he opens his windows. The morning, he remembers it's his birthday. He and Sam moves again as he continues his AM radio broadcast, telling where he will be located. He goes on with his promise of security, food and shelter for survivors. When he goes to the video store, he finds that his mannequins have been moved. He sees one of his mannequins positioned in another place. He comes out from his car and shouts at it, asking what he is doing there. He does not consent it and brings out his automatic rifle from his car. He rants and points a gun at the mannequin. Asks if he is real. He shoots at it as the mannequin falls. He starts shooting sporadically in the airspace. During the night, the darkseekers have set the same trap he organized for them the previous day, which he does not realize. As he approaches the mannequin, he steps inside a pothole of water, the car falls off and the trap rope turns him upside down. Blood drips from his head. Sam barks as he passes out. When he wakes up, he is badly hurt, hanging upside down and still bleeding. His watch beeps signifying dusk. Sam is faithfully waiting for him. He cuts himself free finally just as dusk falls, but he falls on his knife and impales his leg. The alpha darkseeker then appears with 3 infected dogs that are about to attack them. The sunlight prevents the infected dogs to attack them. They bark. Sam agitates and barks as well. This helps Robert buy time to crawl back to his car. He succeeds in crawling back to his car to retrieve a pistol. Once the sun sets, they attack and Robert shoots one of the infected dogs and the others attack Sam. One jumps on him as his gun falls off. Sam fights the other as Robert screams, still battling the one on top of him. Sam fights off the one on top of Robert, which gives him room to shoot and kills both of the infected dogs. He looks over to see Sam collapse from a bite wound and picks her up and lays her in the car. When he gets home, he puts Sam on a table and injects her with an experimental vaccine. He hugs and sings for her. The vaccine fails in helping Sam as Roberts realizes her hair begins to fall out. He checks her pupil and teeth and realizes the transformation. As she attempts to bite him, he is forced to kill her by strangling her as she struggles in his arms. Tears stream down his cheeks as he says goodbye to his only friend. He throws her besides, sitting with grief. He then goes and buries her in the streets. He goes to rental store and tries to dialogue with one of the mannequin. In a grief-stricken rage, he decides to fight all the darkseekers face to face. He uses a mannequin as bait, which makes them curious. As they cluster around the mannequin, he drives his SUV at high speed into the hordes of darkseekers who roam the streets at night. He manages to kill one of them by driving back. He continues his rage against them and kills as much as he can. He nearly runs off the end of the pier and crashes. They attack his SUV. They climb up a street pole and crash it on his SUV, but he still manages to move the car, killing some as well. The Alpha Darkseeker commands hordes and screams. As they launch attack and are fast approaching, he tries to move his SUV, but they turn it upside down as he bleeds. As he is about to be killed by one of the Darkseekers, a bright light shines and he blacks out. He has dreams about the past once more. This time he dreams of the helicopter his wife and child used to escape New York. As it takes off, a nearby helicopter is attacked by the infected and crashes into the helicopter carrying his family. He wakes up in his house to Shrek playing on the TV and stitches in his knife wound. He touches the stitches and hears some noise in the kitchen. He lays ambush and gets a gun from his cabinet. He advances towards the kitchen and sees a woman and a boy. He looks at them with surprise and asks them their identity. They identify themselves as Anna and her son Ethan. As they eat, Anna tells him that they are from Maryland and they heard his radio message and decided to come the previous day. Anna tells Robert about a safe zone in which he doubts exist. She stresses further that the Darkseekers couldn't survive the safe zone due to excessive cold. Roberts out of anger throws his food off as Anna brings out her gun. Roberts out of skepticism tells Anna that everybody is dead. Out of depression and frustration, tells them that he is going upstairs to have peace. He leaves as Anna and her son watch him. Robert thanks Anna for her leg and asks her where she has been and answers that she has been with the Red Cross evacuation ship in Sao Paulo. She goes further to tell Roberts that 5 of them were immune. Anna explains a plan to leave New York and go to a colony of immune survivors in Vermont. Robert, however, insists that he wants to be left alone and that he doesn't believe that such a place exists. He explains to Anna that the infection broke out from here being ground zero and that he can still fix it. Roberts, Anna and Ethan go to the trap site. Roberts expresses doubt that the infected can coordinate such advanced operation, but Anna asks him how sure he is. He says they can't love, think and plan. Ethan swims among fishes and says how cold that the water is. Roberts gets a clue and gets some ice. He embeds the female Darkseeker that he captured into the ice. Anna sees the infected in fear, but Robert informs her that she is heavily sedated. And sees how calm that she is, saying that they are all aggressive, biting all the time. For the first time since the outbreak, Roberts feels the presence of humans by carrying Ethan while he is at sleep. Anna persuades Roberts once again to come to Vermont with them. He becomes reluctant about that and they start deliberating on it. Roberts asks her how she is aware of the colony. She tells him that God told her. Anna tries to convince him that she is God sent. That God sent her to save his life. Roberts expresses doubt and tells her that if God really exists, how did God allow over 5 billion people dead, which is over 90% of the world's population, to get wiped out by the virus, with 1% immunity and 500 million turned into Darkseekers feeding on humans, killing everyone that they know? He goes further to doubt the existence of God. Later that evening, Robert realizes that the infected are attacking the house. The previous night they had followed Anna back when she rescued Robert. He switches on the UV light which they destroy and bypass. He goes further to detonate the land mines that he has planted, which explodes and kill many Darkseekers. Although Robert's home defenses are comprehensive, the infected are so great in number they breach the shutters and make their way into the house. After the explosion he goes upstairs to discover that the Darkseekers has penetrated through the window. The infected attacks Roberts from nowhere and bites him as he screams. The other Darkseeker enters into the house. The Darkseeker throws him around as he struggles. Due to his immunity to the virus, he didn't turn. Robert impales the Darkseeker with a screwdriver, but he throws Roberts off. As he rushes to finish him off, Robert pulls his automatic rifle and shoots at him, but the Darkseeker runs away from the bullets and Robert persists with the shooting. He escapes through the window. Robert sees another Darkseeker on top scraping the ceiling. Robert calms Anna and Ethan as he continues with his operation. Robert sights a pistol on the desk. Ethan makes some noise out of fear as the Darkseeker jumps down. Robert hurriedly collects the pistol, shoots at him as he closes in for an attack. The Darkseeker gets wounded and growls with pain. Robert shoots and kills him. The Alpha growls and more Darkseekers attack. Robert hurriedly takes Anna and Ethan to the laboratory. Anna discovers that the female is gradually returning to her human form. The Darkseekers burst into the laboratory along with the Alpha. Roberts closes the fortified glass and pleads that he can save them. The leader cracks the glass and makes a butterfly sign on the glass wanting the female. Roberts sees the butterfly tattoo on her body. Roberts orders Anna to open the glass. Anna opens it as Roberts pushes the female in their midst. The Darkseekers tries to attack him, but their leader signals them not to. Robert brings out a syringe and induces a virus that makes her a Darkseeker again. She regains consciousness as they touch and feel each other. The leader carries her and Robert apologizes as he waits for his last moment with his eyes closed. The Alpha orders the rest to leave Robert alone as they leave. Robert slumps out of shock and now realizes how organized that they are. He looks at the pictures of the dead darkseekers that he tagged on the wall that were used for experiments. Anna, Robert and Ethan are seen traveling to Vermont, leaving the deserted New York City. Anna continues sending AM radio broadcast about survivors, which Robert has been doing. Thanks for watching. If like this video, click the like and subscribe button along with the notification bell for more.